Glenn Youngkin sworn in as Virginia's new Republican governor over the weekend. His campaign and first actions in office focused on education and pocketbook issues. Now Republicans are looking at his playbook as we head into the midterm elections. So what does my next guest make of that? Former Republican Democratic Governor Douglas Wilder is here to weigh in. Governor, I want to start with something that Governor Youngkin said yesterday over the weekend. We will remove politics from classrooms and refocus on essential math, science, and reading. And we will teach all of our history, the good and the bad. Why would anyone be offended by that statement?
I don't think anyone would be, Charles, and it's good to be with you. And it's an interesting thing. I was pleased to be at the inaugural on Saturday when he made those kinds of statements as well as emphasize what was taking place. I think, first of all, we need to make certain that people understand, and Virginians are very proud people. They're not to be taken for granted by anybody, any party. They're not purple, they're not red. I mean, they're not blue, they're not purple. I'm red, they are more purple than anything else. And they're not, one of the reasons I've flubbed studies on the names and the colors, they're not defined by color. They are defined by spirit of independence. They would vote for that person who is in best interest of their interest and who is promoting what they want to do. I'm pleased to say today, this is my birthday.
I know.
My 91st birthday. The same birthday that's being celebrated by people from Dr. Martin Luther King. Dr. King had the first holiday established in his legislative holiday for him in Virginia. That's what Virginians did. It took me 8 years to do it. 2 governors vetoed it, and yet many people who voted against his holiday came to support his holiday. And I want to say that I looked at that election. King was so much interested in education. And I think Youngkin is doing the same kind of thing, looking to promote what's in the best interest of the people.
Governor, I read your piece today that you put out. You were born two years after Dr. King. He started college at 15. You started at 16. He was assassinated in 1968. You were elected to the state senate in 1969. You made a comment, and I want to share it with the audience, that Martin Luther King Jr. Should not be confined to marches, demonstrations, and songs. Why is that statement so important right now?
I think it's important now because so many people say, oh, if we could just get back to Martin Luther King, and they just start singing. And they start thinking, well, we can march. Wait a minute, King was a visionary. He believed in the high possibility of the individual. He believed in education. Glenn Youngkin, by hitting on education, is emphasizing what King spoke about. And I can tell you at the inauguration on Saturday, walking through the crowd, talking with people, Republicans, Democrats, Independents, many of them were pleased to see us coming together. America needs that more than anything else. And I think in King's instance, he wasn't a Republican, he wasn't a Democrat, he wasn't confined to being a preacher or marches or demonstrations. He was a philosopher, and he studied it, and he knew, one of the things I liked, one of his quotes was, do not just be concerned with increased numbers, because in a column, our numbers will eventually end up adding up to 0. And that's why it's so important now for those people who would not be in office today, but for King, working for the right to vote, people needing the opportunity to vote, but once they vote, they look to see what they've got and they become disillusioned. Our responsibility is to give back that spirit of uplift, give back that upward looking, give back the light, and to let them understand that all things are possible.
Governor, Virginia Republican Lieutenant Governor Winsome Sears is also sworn in over the weekend. When she was asked how she felt as the first African-American woman to hold that office, I want to share with you what she told Fox News. Quote, I think I am a visible success story that says to people, you can do it. You will do it, no matter your gender, no matter your color, even no matter where you were born. Are you going to look at the glass as half full or half empty? Because if it's half empty, that's a negative view of life. That's where too many of our political leaders come from, and all it does is serve their, and I think, nefarious agenda to divide us and to say, you're a victim, you're always going to be a victim, and the other people are oppressors, and so you need us. So this message, I happen to think it's refreshing. The politics of finger pointing, I wish that would become a relic of the past, but your thoughts, particularly on this history making, as you made history, now she's making history.
Well, I think it's good, and I never considered myself making history. I really never considered myself doing anything other than what could be done, what could be possible. I served in the Senate for 16 years. I chaired any numbers of committees. I've been involved in knowing what the laws were and how they needed to be changed and when they needed to be changed. But I wanted that for the people, and so consequently, I didn't go into political office for Doug Wilder. I went in there to serve the people and to the instance that people saw that. And I can tell you, Charles, it's one of the best feelings I have today when I walk the streets or when I walk anywhere and I see people, they identify with me knowing that I am for and have been and will be for the people, all of the people.
Right.
All of America's people and all of Virginia's people. I have spoken to Winsome Sears as well as Jason Arias, the new Attorney General. And I've said to them the best thing they can do now is to work with Glenn Youngkin to make this administration as strong and as profitable for the people of Virginia as they can be. It's not an individual venture. It's a joint thing that we all need to do for the good of the people.
Governor, let me ask you about President Biden. His approval rating now sunk to 33%. This is his first year in office. How worried are you about the direction of the Democratic Party?
Well, I would say that in terms of being worried about it, the people who are really actively involved in the Democratic Party should be really concerned because there doesn't seem to be a direction flow. There doesn't seem to be anyone really in charge. You got to talk to the media because the media talks to the people. You've got to not be afraid to be on the wrong side of an issue. But you can't say certain things. For instance, the border incident, in my judgment, hasn't been handled to the extent that you're talking about spending money. And I don't have to tell you about that. You know it. You do it with every day. Spending money with no idea about how you're going to stop spending it and when is it coming back and how is it coming back. Education is the key, but how do you get there and what are you trying to do to get there? So I think Democrats should be very worried, particularly in lieu of the midterm elections that are coming up. And let's assume that something does happen in tipping the balance. It's not the end of the world, but what are you going to do to make certain that you deserve a chance, a real chance?
Governor Douglas Wilder, I got to tell you, I personally believe you are a living legend. I just want to say happy birthday. You look fantastic for 91, and this is a great. This is one of my highlights of my broadcasting career to have this conversation with you. Thank you so much, sir.
Charles,
happy birthday.
God bless you, and thank you so much for that, and it means a lot to me. Thank you very much.
We'll see you soon.